You want honesty? Here it is. Jerry Jones just did what Jerry Jones does best. Say something bold on the radio and make the whole city argue about it until next Tuesday. First shot. Jones told listeners on 105.3 The Fan that Dallas can and build from the expensive defensive front he now has, insisting the Cowboys can keep Quinnen Williams, Osa Odighizuwa, and Kenny Clark together despite the sticker shock. X, formerly Twitter. If you're a Cowboys fan, that line lands two ways at once. On paper, sure, locking down a disruptive interior trio is a dream. On the other hand, this is the same owner who shipped Micah Parsons out of town 3 months ago, and that trade still stings. So the essential question isn't whether Jones believes it, it's whether his wallet, the salary cap, and the front office's long-term plan actually do. Let's rewind the tape for anyone who slept through the drama. In late August, Dallas traded Micah Parsons to Green Bay in a blockbuster that landed the Cowboys 2 future first-round picks and Kenny Clark. That deal reshaped the roster and the cap picture. Then at the trade deadline, Dallas swung again and brought in Quinnen Williams from the Jets, another interior force added to a unit that desperately needed it. ESPN.com immediate reality check. Williams has been a game changer. The Cowboys are 3-0 since the big piece moved in, and their run defense, which was laughably bad early in the year, suddenly looks like a real unit. That kind of short-term injection of talent can flip locker room energy, and Jones is counting on that momentum as proof that we can build from that. Yahoo Thethau. But let's be blunt about the accounting. Keeping 3 high-priced defensive tackles plus paying rising stars elsewhere is an expensive proposition. Kenny Clark's deal still carries weight. Osa's extension was a commitment, and Quinnen's cost won't be cheap for long. Add in the fact George Pickens and other key contributors will be looking for new money soon, and you've got a classic NFL balancing act. Spend to win now, or preserve flexibility for future roster construction. And then there's the psychological ledger. Micah Parsons was more than a player, he was identity. Trading him wasn't simply a salary move. To many fans, it felt like a philosophical pivot. Jerry's radio reminder that he once offered Parsons to land Williams, a claim that got debated hotly across the league, felt like an attempt to justify that pivot by rewriting the narrative. Some insiders pushed back on Jones's retelling, calling parts of it oversimplified or exaggerated. The pushback isn't just sour grapes. It's evidence that the backroom details rarely match the radio-friendly version. Yahoo Thethau. Here's the emotional loop. Fans are still attached to Parsons because he was the face of the pass rush, a homegrown menace. Now the defense is better on paper with Williams and Clark, and the team is winning. So which feeling wins? The nostalgic ache for Parsons or the current thrill of a defense that actually stops the run? Jerry is banking that momentum buys him time and goodwill. That's not an unreasonable bet if the Cowboys keep winning, but the market for patience is finite in Dallas. The win now crowd doesn't wait long. From a coaching and roster perspective, Jones's public optimism serves a purpose. Saying you can keep the trio publicly signals commitment to defensive continuity and might soothe players who worry about constant turnover. It also telegraphs to agents and free agents that Dallas plans to prioritize interior defense, a recruiting tactic. But talk only matters if it lines up with actions. Contract structures, guaranteed money, clever cap engineering. That's where the front office needs to work harder than Jones' soundbite. Heavy sports. Let's break down the plausible paths forward. 1. Spend now, gamble later. Dallas pays top dollar this offseason to retain Williams and Clark and hopes the younger roster pieces, draft capital, and coaching adjustments keep the team in contention. If it works, Jones looks like a genius. If not, cap hell arrives quickly. 2. Prioritize flexibility. Keep 1 or 2 of the studs, let the others walk, and use the money to chase complementary pieces or extend a core like Pickens. This is the conservative route, less immediate oomph, but safer long-term. 3. Trade and recalibrate. Use one of the expensive assets as trade bait to buy cap room. That sounds unlikely given Jones's radio posture, but it's the pragmatic move if the balance sheet doesn't work. Each path has winners and losers, players, fans, and the front office, and Jones' radio optimism is only a prelude to a tougher offseason negotiation. If Dallas manages to keep all 3 without gutting other areas, they'll have pulled off a masterclass in cap alchemy. If they don't, the "we can build from that" line will become a rallying cry for critics. Now, for the twist most people miss. The real value in Jones's message might not be financial at all. It's psychological. In a league where narratives are currency, publicly declaring confidence in your defensive identity can change how opponents prepare, how players buy in, and even how referees and pundits view the team's trajectory. Jones knows the theater of his role. He uses it. Whether it buys actual wins, that's the scoreboard test. Two more things to keep in mind. First, the Parsons trade isn't a simple lost versus gained ledger. Parsons is thriving in Green Bay and signed a huge deal there that will always sting for Dallas diehards. Second, Quinnen Williams' addition and the early defensive surge give Jones immediate cover, but cover that is thin if the offense stalls or injuries hit. The NFL's margin for error is tiny. So where does that leave us? If you're a Cowboys fan, here's a plan. Enjoy the present. The defense is better, and the team is winning. But mentally bracket Jones' radio promises until the contract sheets are signed and the cap math is public. If you're a skeptic, keep asking for the receipts, because in pro sports, a promise is paper until it's guaranteed. And for the rest of us who watch and argue, this is the kind of midseason drama that makes the sport fun. Big personalities, big trades, bigger questions about identity and money. Jerry Jones did what he always does. He stirred the pot, gave his fans something to talk about, and forced his front office to produce a plan. The real story will be written in the offseason. Contracts signed, extensions handed out, and whether Dallas can actually keep that interior wall together without collapsing something else. Last line to chew on. Jerry Jones can sell the dream on the radio, but in the NFL, the dream only pays out when the ink's dry and the salary cap agrees. And the cap, unlike the podcast, never lies.